Hey, what's up everyone? Jerry from thestogiereview.com. Welcome to part 2, the final part in our series on how to winterize your humidor. If you remember in part 1, we used the instructions provided by the Patricks over at Patrick A and Patrick S over at stogieguys.com, and they provided us instructions on how to calibrate our hygrometer. I wanted to make sure I said it correctly here in part 2. Thank you to everyone who contacted me. I know I said hydrometer in part 1 like there was no tomorrow. I'm glad everybody knew that I meant to say hygrometer and didn't flame me as a know-nothing noob. So I really appreciate that, everyone. Keep it up. Keep them coming. But in part 1, we used the instructions provided by stogieguys.com on how to calibrate our hygrometers using a salt calibration test, and that was a success. We saw the results. If you haven't checked part 1 out, I suggest you check out part 1 and come back here and check out part 2. So here we are in part 2, and I need to preface part 2 the same way I did with part 1 and say that these instructions aren't of my own creation. I need to thank a fine brother of the leaf over at Club Stogie, who goes by the screen name RGD. RGD is a fine brother of the leaf who came up with these instructions, and I'm very thankful that he let me show my ugly mug on the video while I demonstrate his instructions. So part 2 here, we're going to update our existing humidification devices in our humidor with some humidification beads that I purchased from our good friend Dave Asp over at Heartfelt Industries. So if you give me a little bit, I'm going to get set up back here, and I made some room in this room, made some more space in this room for me to work. So I'm going to get everything set up. I'll be back, and I'll give you a brief tour of my humidor, explain what we hope to accomplish, why we're doing this, and all that jazz. So sit back, welcome to part 2, and I really hope you hope this information comes in handy. I know just reading it over, it's going to be a time saver, if anything, for me. So I'll be back. So I'm back. I think I got everything set up correctly. What you're looking at is the front of my humidor. Let me zoom out here. This is my humidor. You could probably see better pictures online at stogiereview.com. The cool thing, might not look like much, but the cool thing I like about it, I'll give you a little snapshot of some of the stogies I have. I'll give you the tour. There's some Rocky Patel, a few Old World Reserves, Rocky Patel Edge, Vintage 90s, Connecticut's. Those are some Filipino cigars you see there, the Don Juan Yacuros, some Partagas 150s, and there's a few Opus X down there somewhere. And then up front I got some of my Carlos Terranos. This magneto got all messed up. So, and there's a Rocky Patel Sungrown. So, and I'm sure you notice this dude here. I know I dogged the hell out of it last time, but the reason why it's in my humidor is it's the original one that came with it, and everything's pretty much original that came with it, and I want to keep it that way. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm updating original humidification units. Is I didn't want to bother trying to look for something that would fit the little rectangle there. But anyways, the cool thing about this, I'm not sure if anybody has seen it or not, but it is a numbered humidor. It is number 36 out of 130 produced. The MSRP on it when I originally found it was $600. When I first saw it at my local JR Cigars, and had a price tag of $300 on it. And I'm like, man, that's pretty steep. And then I went online looking and saw it online for $600. And And so really I bought it as an investment, even though I have no plans of ever parting ways with it. In fact, I'm actually looking for another one similar to it. It actually comes in 3 different colors. There's a white one and a more of a burl colored one, you know, that yellowish wood looking guy. I think it's called burl. I guess it's kind of like this color here. The colors are kind of reversed. I'm not sure if the 130 represents if there was 130 made for each color or 130 among the 3 colors altogether. But anyways, I haven't been able to find it. If you see something like this out there, you know, shoot me an email. But the other cool thing is it has drawers. Ta-da! Ooh, look at that mess. I got some crumbs in there. Not crumbs, debris. Anyway, so it has drawers. So as you can see, got a couple more opus in there aging. Got some cigars that've seen better days. Behind each one of these is on each side, each compartment, there's also a humidification device similar to this. So altogether, in part 2 here, we're going to replace all 3 humidification units. So let me close this up here and let me show you all the equipment and tools that we're going to need to do this. Alright, so I'm back. Now, let me go ahead and quickly show you all the equipment and tools that we're going to need to update our humidification device. The first thing, I guess, goes without saying, you're going to need your humidification device. Mine has 3. It has the top one up top that you saw, and it has 2 others down below. These are the ones that are filled, that came with the green foam. I call it green foam. I know the technical name for it is forest foam. I don't know, but I call it the green stuff, green foam. I've actually had to replace the foam in each one at least once a year for the 3 years that I've owned the Humidor, and it's a pain in the butt to cut and size the foam to fit in these guys. The reason why you have to replace them is they're very susceptible to mold, so you need that. The next thing you need are some humidification beads. These beads is a 1 pound bag that I think ran me around $30 plus shipping. I got them from our good friend Dave Asp. I purchased them from our friend Dave Asp over at Heartfelt Industries. I think his website is heartfeltindustries.com. And he has them both in half pound and full pound bags. He offers them in 3 different RH levels. He offers it at a 60, a 65, and what you see here is a 70%. And the reason why I went with the 70% was I figured it's wintertime. I'm gonna need as much humidification as I can. Now, if you're wondering how much beads you need, if you need the half pound or full pound bag, Dave has a nice equation that I'll show you. He has a nice equation on the site that explains how to figure out how much beads you actually need. The next thing you need is a nice squirt bottle filled with distilled water. Now, the reason why you need the distilled water is when the beads come to you, they're not charged, and they need to be charged. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can charge them. They all require distilled water. Don't use tap water. Don't use your 50-50 solution. It needs distilled water. If you use anything else, it's going to clog it up, and your performance of these beads are going to be crappy. So stick with the distilled water. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to charge these beads. Some people soak them in distilled water. Some people put them in 2 different containers, and one filled with distilled water, one with the beads, and have the beads naturally soak up the humidity and charge. But the easiest way, and the way that Heartfelt Industries recommends that you do it, is using a spray bottle to spray them to get them to charge. Speaking of that, you're also going to need a container to put the beads in so you can spray them with the distilled water so that they can become actively charged. Now, the 2 more pieces you're going to need. You're going to need a little flathead screwdriver or pocket knife or something so you can pry open the cover of your humidification device to remove that stuff and put the beads in. Now, what do you put the beads in? Because you can't just go ahead and pour them into the device like this, because the beads are small enough that they'll actually fall out of the slots. So what you're going to need, Dave over at Heartfelt Industries also offers mesh bags that you could purchase to put the beads in. Or you could do what I do. Don't laugh. But I went to Walmart and purchased some pantyhose. They're not mine. Don't worry. Don't think I'm all crazy. They're not my size. Anyways, I got 4 pairs for $1 in a natural white color. What do they call it? Ivory color. You could try to scrounge around your girlfriend's, your wife's, your significant other's drawers for pantyhose, but 9 times out of 10 they're gonna notice it's gone and think something's up, and you try to explain, oh, I needed it for my humidor, and I'm like, yeah, right. So go out and buy your own. Don't steal your girlfriend's or your wife's. That's about it. Now, there's other ways you can do this. Works with any kind of humidification device. I'm a big fan of dry mist sticks when I travel. You could simply dump out the gel containments in here and fill it up with beads, and it'll work just the same. So with now that you know everything you need, let me get set up here again, and we'll start the process of putting everything together. Alright, so as you can see here on my table I set up, I have a container with the amount of beads I need to do one of my humidification devices. I have my spray bottle filled with distilled water, my 1 pound bag of Heartfelt Industry humidification beads, the 70%, and I got my pantyhose, and there you can see the green stuff, the green foam that I removed from my humidification device. Now, so coming back to the beads, as you can see, let's see if I get close up, you can see how white they are. That shows when they're that white that they're not active, they're not charged. Now, what you want to do is you want to take your spray bottle, and you want to do about technically it's 1 fluid ounce of distilled water for each pound. But we're just gonna wing it here and spray generously. And let's see if I can hold it still. As you can see, as soon as I spray it with my distilled water, the beads are no longer the pale white. They are now pretty transparent, pretty clear. So I'm just going to shake it up a little bit here. And I'll spray it for one more. Don't be too concerned if, don't worry about if you got 1 or 2 stray beads in there that don't turn colors. It's not a big deal. So as you can see, now that they're clear, they're active. So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my thing of pantyhose, and I'm going to put these in the pantyhose. So, alright, so what we want to do here is go ahead and transfer the charged beads to our pantyhose, our container that's going to hold the beads in place. So what I went ahead and did, I went ahead and wrapped the pantyhose around the container, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and dump the beads in like that. And that it's just pretty much measuring to make sure you don't have a lot of pantyhose overhanging from the outside of your humidification device. So I'm going to cut this off, snip this off, tie it, and insert it into my humidification device. Okay, so I tied it off, put it in my humidification device, and it's not perfect. This isn't perfect. I'm going to touch it up as we go, off camera, but you can pretty much get the idea of what I'm trying to get at. Now it's just simply putting your humidification devices, the cover back on your devices. Make sure nothing's hanging out. And now you have yourself an updated humidification device. Pretty simple. Pantyhose, humidification beads, distilled water. Doesn't get any much simpler than that. The 1 pound bag of humidification beads from Heartfelt Industries ran me about $30 plus shipping. Pantyhose, $1. Distilled water, I mean, everybody should have that. That ran me about 99 cents at the grocery store. So you're looking at, for a little less than $40, you can update your humidification device in your humidor. So let me clean up here, and we'll come back, wrap it up, close up, and talk about why we did this and the benefits and why I chose beads over other devices. All right, so I'm back. All 3 of my humidification devices in my humidor have been upgraded, and I put them back in, and I'm excited to see what the results are going to be. I have high hopes, I really do. What I'm hoping for is I could maybe go a month, at least a month, without recharging them. If I could get a month out of them before the first recharge, I think it'd be well worth the time, money, and effort that I put into this, because it beats the hell out of 3 days. I tell you that. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I don't have any reason to believe it's not going to perform up to those standards. Some of you might be wondering why I'm using beads when there's other solutions out there like the Puck or Cigar Oasis. And basically I used the beads because I wanted to keep the humidor as original as possible. I didn't want to have to add new accessories to it or drill a hole or take up a lot of space, have the humidification device take up a lot of space or things like that. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I love my humidor. I do. It's probably one of the best things I've ever bought. It's probably one of the most beautiful things I own. The best $300 I ever spent. To me, it's a work of art, and I want to keep it the way I bought it. Again, my wife thinks I'm crazy when I talk like that. Sometimes she thinks I love my humidor more than her. Sometimes. No. Anyways, so I don't think you could go wrong with any of the products. The Puck and Cigar Oasis are solid humidification devices. If I had a desktop humidor that didn't have a prefabricated area for a humidification device, I definitely have no problem sticking the Puck in it. As a matter of fact, for those of you that own cigar caddies or otter boxes, the Puck's the perfect humidification upgrade for those. I mean, they fit right in there. But I went with this slowly for personal reasons. It was the best fit for the solution I wanted. If you're wondering about life expectancy of the beads, according to Dave Asp over at Heartfelt Industries, they're gonna last forever. I mean, he was telling me, after I purchased the beads, I contacted him and told him what I was planning on doing after I got the beads, purchased them, and received the beads. And he was kind enough to take some time and answer a few questions I had. And he said he has about 2 pounds of beads that he's had for 7 years that still work flawlessly since like they did day one. He said the beads will soak up some of the oils from your cigars, but it's not going to affect its performance at all. So I really have high hopes for this. I think I'm going to, when I wake up from hibernation in springtime, that I'm going to have some fresh ass stogies, and I can't wait for that. I'm just looking to keep my sanity this winter. I mean, can you imagine every 3 days going to your humidor? It freaking drives you nuts. Anyways, so that's about it. I want to thank RGD over at Club Stogie for writing up those instructions, taking the time to write up those instructions and allowing me to demonstrate them for you. I again want to thank the Patrick A and Patrick S over at StogieGuys.com for allowing me to do part 1. And I want to thank Dave Asp over at Heartfelt Industries. You can go to his website at heartfeltindustries.com. I want to thank him for taking the time to answer my questions after I purchased the product from him. So I really hope you found this useful. I I think it's going to be a great winter for me. I'm going to keep my sanity. So, until next time, folks, like last time, I guess I can't say long ashes anymore. Oh, British time. Anyway, fresh stogies. If you got any questions, hit me up. Any comments, if I mispronounced anything, or whatever. You know, all comments welcome. So, take care, everyone.
C'est pas comme ça, oui, parler français. L'autre qui me lance à l'ombi, oui, parler français. Oui, parler français. Ya yo trabajar. Oui, parler français. Me voy a casar. Oui, parler français. Con natividad. Oui, parler français. Oui, me sigue.